Good morning, guys. I wanted to get on and talk about the first 7 chapters of Catcher in the Rye, just so you can see some of the main quotes I want you to pick up on and discuss some of the characters. So, first character we have is our narrator, Holden Caulfield. So, he's 16-year-old and he just got kicked out of his school, Pensy. And really, what I want you to pay attention for him is pay attention to his voice in the novel. So, what is he telling us directly in his narration? And then, what can we infer based on the tidbits he tells us throughout? You'll notice that he calls a lot of things phony, and he is constantly observing all of the other people in this novel. So, what are his opinions and his thoughts about these characters and situations telling us about him? Okay, second chapter, he goes over to Mr. Spencer's house, and Mr. Spencer tries to give him some life advice, right? And so, one of those things that he says is life's a game that one plays according to the rules. He's really trying to get Holden back on the right track, but Holden isn't really truly receptive to this at this point in time, as he's just been kicked out of school and he just doesn't really care. One of the main motif symbols in the novel is Holden's red hunting hat, and it is introduced in this first part. Okay, and one of the quotes about the red hunting hat is as follows: "Then I put on this red hunting hat that I'd bought in New York City that morning. It was this red hunting hat with one of those very, very long peaks. I saw it in the window of the sports store when we got out of the subway. The way I wore it, I swung the old peak way around to the back. Very corny, I'll admit, but I liked it that way." So in this narration, you can see, illustration, you can see that the hat is around to the back, and that's the way he wears it. I want you to pay attention to when he puts it on. He puts it on in different situations, a lot of times when he might be uncomfortable. So this might be a way that he can comfort himself in this cool hat that he has just bought. Okay, so some other characters we see in these first 7 chapters. We've got Ackley and Stradlater. Stradlater's his roommate, and Ackley's right next door. As you can see by these fun little schmoop illustrations, Ackley's got some strength. He's good company, but he is pretty disgusting. He cuts his toenails and is just kind of annoying and pimply and gross. And Stradlater, he is a hottie with a body, but a jerk face with girls. And we see that Holden actually gets upset with Stradlater because he's going on a date with Jane, who used to be Holden's next door neighbor, who he probably has a crush on. So he's pretty upset about Stradlater going on a date with Jane. And another thing that he mentions is Allie's mitt. So when Stradlater's on the date with Jane, Stradlater asks Holden to write this essay for him, and it has to be descriptive. And so he decides to write about Allie's mitt. So what I did, I wrote about my brother Allie's baseball mitt. It was a very descriptive subject. It really was. My brother Allie had this left-handed fielder's mitt. He was left-handed. The thing that was descriptive about it, though, was that he had poems written all over the fingers, in the pocket, and everywhere, in green ink. He wrote them on it so that he'd have something to read when he was in the field and nobody was up at bat. He's dead now. He got leukemia and died when we were up in Maine on July 18th, 1946. You'd have liked him. So clearly, Allie's death affected Holden. So kind of keep that in mind. And the fact that he decides to write about Allie's mitt really speaks to the importance of his brother to him. And then as he's leaving Pensy, he says this: "I was sort of crying. I don't know why. I put my red hunting hat on and turned the peak around to the back the way I liked it, and then yelled at the top of my goddamn voice, 'Sleep tight, you morons.' I'll bet I woke up every bastard on the whole floor. Then I got the hell out." So I pulled this quote because, he's crying when he leaves. Whenever you leave anything, sometimes you feel some type of way, right? So he's just kind of having these emotions. He's got his red hunting hat on, and I just think it's funny that he yells, "Sleep tight, you morons." I personally find the way that Holden phrases things as pretty comical. And I hope that you guys do as well and are enjoying the book. Email me if you have any questions.